Everyone should run. It's another episode of Creature Madness with your host, me, Gus from Askewed Reviews. So, if you're one of the people going, what in the world is Creature Madness? Let me tell you more about it. This was a creation by my friend Matthew over at Horror Madness, who decided to create a movie club all about creature features. So each time we watch the same film, and then each of us does our own review on that movie. Now, aside from myself and Matthew, the other members of this group are Karen, Ryan, Jen, Amariah, Ashley, and Bambi. And it was actually my turn to choose the movie for this week. And the movie that I went with was the 1979 film Prophecy, directed by John Frankenheimer. Now, even though it does oftenly get confused with The Prophecy, this is not in fact the movie starring Christopher Walken. This is actually a 1970s monster film that does not get talked about enough, and it's actually an eco-horror movie. So let me tell you about the actual story for this one. We have our main characters that are a couple, Rob and Maggie. Rob works as a paramedic and Maggie is a cellist. Now, Rob is given a job offer to come to Maine and be a mediator of sorts between a paper mill and the Native Americans that live in the area. What he's supposed to do is prove that the actual paper mill is not causing any issues for the local and surrounding area. So he and Maggie agree and they head to Maine. It's here where they meet the representative of the paper mill, Mr. Isley, who is showing them around and telling them about what is actually going on. Around this same time, though, he also meets John Hawks and Ramona, who are two members of this Native American community. When they do speak to Mr. Isley, it really does feel like he's hiding something, and when Rob does a little bit more research, there is actually a big issue with this paper mill, and it's causing some very big problems for the local wildlife. The animals are acting very peculiar, very feral, and some of them are growing to a tremendous size. One creature in particular becomes very bloodthirsty and is purely out for carnage. This really is a great monster movie, and it has some amazing practical effects. There are some very slow moments throughout the film, but if you're willing to stick it out, it is a ton of fun to watch. There also might be some moments that you get really aggravated with the characters because they make some very dumb decisions, but it's a 70s horror movie, so what do you expect? Talia Shire, who is one of the main characters, plays Maggie, and you probably recognize her from either the Rocky movies or the Godfather movies. Another familiar face, at least for me, was Victoria Racimo, who plays the character of Ramona, and I completely had forgotten that she was also the nurse from Ernest Goes to Camp. Another actor I briefly want to mention that's also in this film is Armand Asante, who plays John Hawks. In my opinion, he just did not appear in enough movies. I feel like he really should be in more. Also, this movie has one of the best funny death scenes that is not supposed to be funny, but I'll just say this, sleeping bag. When you see it, you'll totally understand. I could not stop laughing during that moment. Now, if you'd like to watch Prophecy, it's not really available in most places other than for rental, but you can find it on the Internet Archive. I own a copy, and that's how I was able to watch it. So for me on my scale, I'm giving this one a 3 out of 5. So if you've seen Prophecy before, please let me know what you thought about it in the comments. Also, this is a heads up to anyone, spoiler warning, I'm now about to talk about the monster from this film, as this is the section of Creature Madness where I go more in depth about the creature itself. So now it's time to talk about this horrifying mutation, which is, or was at least, a bear at some point. But now it is definitely much more, and it is going to take out anything and everything that gets in its way or gets its hands on its children. So as we learn from the film, the mercury gets into the water, which gets into the fish, which gets eaten and then causes mutations like this. Now, the mutations apparently cause it to be stronger, cause it to be smarter, faster, and of course, more feral. Now, it's explained in the movie that the reason that the bear is called Katadin is because the Native Americans believe that there is a creature of some sort or some sort of spirit that protects the forest from those that are trying to destroy it. And this is apparently their protector. This, yet again, is another creature that if I ran into it in the woods, I would shit my pants, and I have no idea what I would do other than curl up in a ball and more than likely die. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you'd like to see what everyone else did for their reviews on this movie, just look up the hashtag Creature Madness.